nothing better than watching you smile. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ain't nothing better than watching you laugh out loud, my baby. Ain't nothing better than watching you.
Welcome. Today we're going to be discussing solving systems of equations using elimination with multiplication. That's where we have been eliminating one of the variables. And so let's move on. So far we've solved systems using graphing. We haven't done substitution yet. That will be later in the week. And we've been doing elimination, but now it's going to get a little bit more involved. The notes that are in front of you follow along with this PowerPoint. What happens when the coefficients are not the same? We have to multiply through the equations to make them the same. So let's see what happens. In front of you, you have your notes, so follow along with our steps. Put the equations in standard form. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. Step 2. Determine which variable to eliminate. We've done this before, and we were looking for the variables that were opposite one another, so that when I added the two equations together, they were going to drop out. They become 0. So now we want to look for variables that have the same coefficient. Step 3, multiply the equations and solve. Step 4, we'll be plugging back in to find the other variable. And step 5 is to check our solution in both of the original equations. So let's see what we have. 2x plus 2y equals 6, 3x minus y equals 5. Put the equations in standard form. Well, they already are, so good for you. Determine which variable to eliminate. None of the coefficients are the same. However, if you'll see, the y is positive on one of the equations and negative on the other equation. We want to find what is going to be the least amount of steps to eliminate one of these variables. So if we look at our x's, down here we see the least common multiple being 6x. That means 2x would have to be multiplied by 3, and 3x would have to be multiplied through by 2. Whereas with the y variable, only one of my equations will have to be multiplied through by a 2. Which one is easier to obtain? 2y. We only have to multiply the bottom equation by 2. So we have to show our work. Write the equation, multiply through by the 2. Remember, you want to put the 2 out front of the equation, so you're multiplying every term inside the parentheses. Rewrite the equations. Please do not squish in negatives or changing that 3 to a 6. It's going to be messy. So just rewrite the equation off to the right, show that you're adding the 2, the y's will drop out, and you wind up with x equaling 2. Plug back in to find the other variable. And y equals 1. So the solution to this set of equations is 2, 1. Check our solution. I would like you to continue. I don't care for this way of checking, so I want you to go through and multiply and show that both sides equal each other. Do not stop here. Okay. So solving with multiplication adds one more step to the elimination process. It's not anything that we're not used to doing. We know how to distribute. We know how to identify which variable will be easier to eliminate. Let's try one. First of all, we have to put the equations in standard form. Are they in standard form? Are my x's one underneath each other and my y's one underneath each other? Yes. Determine which variable to eliminate. If I look at my x's, well, I don't have a coefficient out front here other than 1. And I do have one here, so I would have to multiply this equation through by a 4. And if I'm multiplying this equation through by a 4 already, why not just make it a negative 4? Again, the least common multiple for the y, I will have to multiply through this equation by a 3 and this equation by a 4. So I will have to do one extra step if I chose to eliminate the y. The easier of the two would be the x, showing that we're multiplying through by a negative 4. Now why did I choose a negative 4? Well, because this equation is a positive 4 and I need these two variables to drop out. So I have to make one opposite of the other. Distributing through, I get opposite of one another, my x's, they drop out. Adding my y's, solving for y, I get y equals 1. Plug back in to find the other variable, x equals 3. Check your solution in both equations, and again I want you to go all the way through the process. Do not just end here. What is the first step when solving with elimination? Take a moment to read through these steps and choose your answer. You may pause here, reading, seeing if you can identify which of these 7 steps would be the first one. If you chose 6, good for you. We do have to determine which variable to eliminate first. I want you to take a minute, and this is on your notes. I want to see if you can try to do this on your own. Let's answer this question first. Which variable is easier to eliminate? The x's or the y's? We have a 3x and a 4x. Least common multiple between these two would be 12, and I have a 1 and a 4. If you said y, yes, that is true. So I want you to take a moment and try to solve this on your own, and then come back after you've paused and see if you've done it properly. My solution is x is 1, y is negative 1. Plugging them back into both of the equations, we do have a check on both. So go through this lesson again if you need to, watch the video, and when you come in tomorrow we will be discussing this and practicing it for the next 2 days. Good luck.